We can be married in 2 days' time. But I've got to know, one way or the other. Well?
Yes.
I just want to tell you one thing. It's over. We're finished.
Concerning Kerry Vincent, additional evidence of a serious nature has come to hand. On the basis of this evidence, there are grounds for believing that you might indeed have blackmailed Kerry Vincent. You are therefore suspended from duty until further notice.
Just been suspended. The department thinks I blackmailed a painting out of Vincent.
That's absurd.
He doesn't think so.
I had to tell Mrs. Davidson what I'd heard, Vera.
Overheard, Mr. Fletcher. And if you weren't in the habit of eavesdropping, you might have heard what I said in context. It used to be that prisoners had to earn their privileges, and that's all I was implying. Not extortion, as you seem to think.
I said no such thing.
But why would she want to accuse you of blackmail?
Because for a moment I forgot she's no different than the others. There's not one of them worth helping, because none of them know the meaning of the word.
Well, there have been prison weddings before, and I don't think Mrs. Davidson would raise any objections. Of course, first of all, we have to get departmental approval. Oh, you did keep the forms, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I was sort of hoping she'd change her mind.
But who's going to marry us in here, though?
Well, what's wrong with the minister who was going to marry you before?
Well, no, I had to book him up a month ahead, and, well, now we've got to get married real quick, or Dawn's likely to change her mind again.
No, I won't. And a month's not too long to have to wait.
No, love, I'm sorry. I want us to get married as soon as possible.
Listen, I've got a few contacts. I think I can probably arrange a marriage celebrant at short notice. How does that affect you?
Well, it sounds great to me.
Yeah, well, Lynn Warner said that she got married by one of them, and she said it was real nice.
Thanks, Mr. Reed.
Shouldn't be too long, though. Been a bit short-staffed and the work starts piling up, you know.
I'm used to waiting.
Been at this rehabilitation stuff for some time now, have you?
A few years.
Funny, I don't remember seeing you at Pentridge. Not that I was there myself for very long. Came from New South Wales. Shoved me right into maximum security. Tough lot of bastards there, I can tell you.
Maybe they didn't like the way they were being treated.
No, you've been lucky. You've only been dealing with the good ones. I tell you, it makes a sweet change working in a woman's prison, I can tell you that. What made you take up this sort of work in any case?
I was inside for 20 years. I figured I owed the system something.
Mr. Jackson. This gentleman here has an appointment with B. Smith. Can you see to it, please?
Yes, Mr. Stewart.
Miss Bennett, I'd like to thank you for coming to Kerry's exhibition. She's got a lot of talent, but she does need that sort of encouragement.
The only talent she's got is for lying and using people.
Look, if you could go through, Mr. Pierce, I'll get an officer to go with you. Look, it's only until they can investigate. You'll be cleared in no time.
Look, I had what happened, and I'm sorry. You know, you look like you could use a drink. It's not true what they say about Scotsmen. Our wallets aren't glued to our spawns all the time, you know.
I've got to pick up a painting.
The painting?
I should have known when she gave it to me she was setting me up.
Yeah, well, we all make mistakes. I got suspended myself once, you know. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I reckon it's about time something was done about it.
Well, you certainly got the mood of the play and what it's trying to say. That's a good start.
So glad you approve.
How's rehearsal going?
Funny, I could have sworn you'd lost interest.
Look, I know I haven't been by as often as I should, but, well, I have been flat to the boards.
So I've noticed. Must take a lot of time setting up art shows. Kerry must have a lot of talent for you to take such a personal interest.
Yes, I think she's talented. And I also think that talent is going a long way towards rehabilitating her. That's why I'm pressing for an early release. And that's the only reason I'm interested in her.
You want to try it on me? Or aren't I talented enough?
You know, you really don't give me much credit for knowing what it's like to be locked away from someone, do you? Too much time to think, get things out of proportion. You start imagining all sorts of things.
Imagining?
Look, Bea, I know things go wrong sometimes, but I also know that can be helped along by suspicions and accusations and forgetting what it's like to trust someone.
Trust? My old man was shacked up with a little tart 3 weeks after they put me inside.
Oh, boy, one lousy experience and you start jumping to conclusions every time, don't you? Look. I know it's a tall order expecting someone to remain loyal all the time, but if that someone really cares, whatever happens on the outside won't change that.
I wouldn't be a fool if she thought a man could be happy with just seeing her for a few minutes every now and then.
That depends on how much he cares. And he could care one hell of a lot about her.
Yes. I see. Yes. Yes, I am aware of that, Mr. Douglas. I'll let them know. Well, thank you very much for your trouble. Goodbye. Well, all that remains is for you to set the date.
Oh. Well, I took the liberty of talking to a marriage celebrant, just in case the department are having one of their better days, and she can marry them tomorrow.
It's nice to know you have such faith in the department, Mr. Reed. There is one restriction, I'm afraid. You'll be unable to invite family or friends. But if there's anyone in here you would like to invite, Doreen, that will be fine. But keep the number down to 4 or 5.
Oh, that'll be real good, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, all that remains now is to find 2 witnesses.
Yeah, well, we talked about that before in Mr. Reed's office, and, well, we think it'd be quite nice.
Yeah, if you and Mrs. Jackson... only if you wanted to, Mrs. Davidson. I mean, I know you probably wouldn't, but I'd like you to give me away. I mean, I know you're the governor and everything, and you wouldn't probably want to do it, but, well, my mum would have liked it. And I'd understand if you didn't want to.
I would be delighted to do it, Doreen.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Well, I think that's all. Mr. Reed seems to have everything under control.
Well, there is something else, Mrs. Davidson. I don't have to wear my uniform, do I?
I think it would be nicer if you wore something more appropriate for the occasion. Do you have anything?
No. You see, Kevin's mum and I, well, we only bought the trousseau.
Oh, I see.
Look, I could get you something to wear, Dor. Oh, don't worry, I'll get you something real nice, but... Well, you've got to tell me your size.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Miss Bennett. You're becoming quite a familiar face in the art world. I never realized that prison officers were quite so sensitive.
I've come to collect my painting.
Well, I'm terribly sorry. The framing's not finished yet.
I don't care whether it's framed or not. I want it back, Mr. Austin.
Why this sudden rush?
I'm going to return it to Kerry Vincent, if you must know.
Ah, so you've decided not to force her into giving you the painting after all, eh?
I would have thought a man in your position would know better than to believe the word of a criminal.
She's not a criminal, Miss Bennett. She's an artist. An artist. And anyway, I'm only going on what I read in the papers.
You were the one who gave them the story.
I was only protecting my client, that's all.
Look, what seems to be the hold-up here?
Well, I don't really see that it's any of your business, but Miss Bennett wants back a painting she was having framed.
Well, that's the lady's business then, isn't it? So why don't you be a good wee laddie and go and wrap it up for us, eh?
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
That's all right. Listen, Miss Bennett, why don't you and I go out tonight and show the whole lot of them that you can't keep 2 good officers down, eh? Unless, of course, you get something better to do than to be wined and dined by a born old scrubber like myself.
No, not at all. That'd be very nice, thank you.
Right, and to hell with prisons and all who rot in them.
Oh, bloody mongrel thing.
What are you doing, Lizzie?
I knew they hadn't chucked them away.
Chuck what away?
The costumes. You remember? When we did Alibaba and the 40 Thieves for the kids in the nursery.
Oh, yeah?
I thought we could cut them up and use them for material for your play. I reckon Mr. Pierce would be real pleased.
Dum dum da dum. Dum dum da dum. Guess what?
You're not.
Yes,
Oh,
tomorrow afternoon in the garden.
You mean you and Kev are getting married in the prison?
Yeah, but it'll still be fair dinkum, Lizzie.
Oh, dog.
Oh, good on you, mate. About bloody time.
Oh, thanks. I'm only allowed to ask my closest friends, so I thought I'd ask Bea, Lizzie, Judy, Kerry, and Roz if she's allowed.
You left me out.
Ah.
If she'd invite the whole prison, you'd be left out.
It won't feel the same, though, if you don't get married in a church.
Oh, bull, of course it will. As long as you tie the knot.
What's the matter with him, Doreen? He an old queen or something? Must be if he gets married to you.
You shut your filthy mouth.
There was no need for that, Gilmore.
Why, Mr. Fletcher. I'd forgotten you were still here. You're going to spend 24 hours with us now you've got nothing to go home to.
You're a vaulting little worm.
Since when have you been worried about a screw's feelings?
His wife and both his kids were killed. Now, unless you want the same thing to happen to you, I'd get out of here.
Okay. But I only wanted to tell you about Vera. She's been suspended. I heard the screws talking. Something about her making Kerry give her a painting in return for paints and stuff.
That true?
No. I mean, that's what I told the governor. My agent thought it'd be good publicity. Oh, I didn't want her to get the sack. I just wanted to, well, get back at her for being rough on me. Better tell Mrs. Davidson the truth.
No way. If they want to find out the truth, let them find it out for themselves. They've been looking for a way to get rid of Vera for years.
I was suspended once before. Did you know that? Accused of hitting a prisoner. Smith, Birdsworth and Ferguson. They wanted to get rid of me. They're afraid of me. And why? Because I'm so good at my job. I am. I'm always one step ahead of them. So they set me up. But it's on my record. Even though I was innocent, the department won't like me being reported twice.
Would you, like some more wine?
Oh, it's so expensive.
You only live once, and I believe in making it count.
I've worked in prison since I was 21. I know every regulation, every prisoner, everything. I could have been governor one day. There'd be no trouble if I was in charge. I'd never take the word of a criminal against an officer. If I do have to find another job, they're not looking for experience anymore. All they're after is some giggling little thing in a short skirt who can sit around looking pretty all day.
You'd run rings round them.
People frighten me, Jock.
Let's trip the light fantastic, eh?
I'm not very good.
You just follow me. We'll show them how. I'm not going to let a crim get rid of a good officer, Vera. You just leave it to me, and I'll make sure the truth comes out.
Wedding in the church. We could all get out for the day.
Oh, I suppose you'd like the reception at the Hilton.
Yeah, that's a pub, isn't it?
I'm starting to get the shakes a bit, Mrs. Jackson.
How's it going now you got Vera off your back?
Oh, got to admit I can concentrate more.
All right, ladies, move along. Miss Bennett asked me to give you this. Been checking up your file, Vincent. Drunk, prostitute. Killed a client for criticizing you. Miss Bennett criticized you too, didn't she?
She doesn't know anything about me or my work.
Well, she knew enough to like that. And if you don't tell the governor that, I'll see to it that you never paint again. At least not in prison.
Now, the vows are very simple, and all you have to do is repeat them after me.
Right. All you have to remember is when the questions are asked, you say, I will.
Right.
Now, when you put the ring on Doreen's finger...
Oh,
then...
yeah, I almost forgot. You left this in the interview room a couple of weeks ago, and well, I think you'd better be wearing it now before I put the other one on.
Have you found a verse you like yet?
Oh, yeah. But could you excuse me? I've got to talk to Mrs. Jackson for a minute.
I take it there is someone to give the bride away.
I don't understand what half of them even mean.
I'll see if I can find one suitable.
Yeah, well, see, I don't want Kevin to think I'm dumb or anything.
Yes, Kevin Arnold Burns and Doreen May.
Have you seen the dress he's bought me?
No, Mr. Stewart checked it in.
What if it's really awful?
Well, Kevin's got good taste, hasn't he? Look, I had to tell them, David.
I was just trying to embellish Kerry's situation a little, that's all.
Because of your little embellishment, an officer's reputation, not to mention the prison's, has been discredited.
You're not going to stop a painting because of this, are you?
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. You can take Vincent back now. Vincent is still an inmate, and I assure you I will not hesitate to withdraw her privileges if there is any more trouble. I take it this little exercise was simply to increase your sales?
I was trying to help her parole. You're still going to recommend that, aren't you?
But I am not recommending she be paroled into your custody.
Now, look, Mrs. Davidson. I'm her mentor. She's my protege. She's going to be great. No prison's going to stand in her way.
That is entirely up to her, Mr. Austin.
I knew it. Everything's going wrong.
Well, didn't you tell him what size you were? Doreen?
Well, yeah, but I told him I was a size smaller.
Oh, good.
Well, I didn't want him to think I was chubby.
We was going to find out sooner or later.
Yeah, but then I'll have 6 months to diet, won't I?
Give it to me, Doreen. Someone in the laundry can let it out. Oh, and there's no need to panic. We've got plenty of time.
Kevin's gone and forgotten to put in stockings too, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll just go down and borrow a pair.
And make sure you do ask for them, Lizzie, please. Now, will you stop worrying? It'll be ready in no time.
I never should have rushed into it.
Well, I see you're almost ready.
What are you doing here?
Judy's not coming to your wedding. She said she doesn't want to.
Well, just so happens Judy beat you to it. And she said she was feeling crook.
Yeah, and it's any wonder living in the same cell with you, face ache.
Getting married. Well, that's typical, isn't it? They're so busy allowing that sort of charade to go on that they don't know what's happening underneath their noses.
Look, you're back. That's the main thing.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know how you did it, but thank you.
Just took a bit of detective work, that's all. Yes, sir.
I'd like to have a word with Doreen Anderson, thanks.
Get a visit with her yesterday. Against regulations. 2 visits in as many days.
Oh, do me a favour. Come on, look, it's urgent. It's business.
Is it about us selling that house? See, those interview rooms are smaller than you might think. It's our job to keep our ears open in case some things are said that shouldn't be said.
Yeah, well, it's in her interest, you see. Look, we're prepared to offer her a little bit more money. Hey? I'm sure a girl in her position can use every bit of help she can get.
Something old, something new, and I want that back. Something borrowed. Well, your stockings are borrowed. And something blue.
What is that?
It's a bit of old uniform.
I can't carry all this, Lizzie.
Of course you can. Just shove them down your front. It's bad luck if you don't.
I thought you might like this.
Oh, Kerry, it's gorgeous. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I made it. Well, it'll last. It's paper.
Oh, thanks, Kerry.
Oh, not now.
Well, I could tell him to wait.
Doreen, there's someone at reception wanting to speak to you about selling your mother's house.
But I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. Kevin and I are going to live in it when I get out of here, and I won't change my mind.
Atta girl.
All right, I'll help Doreen with the rest. You lot better go out to the garden.
Well, goodbye, Doreen Anderson. Hello, Mrs. Kevin Burns.
Oh, do. You will be all grown up.
We are here today to share in a marriage ceremony between Doreen May Anderson and Kevin Arnold Burns. My name is Sandra Peterson, and I am duly authorized by law to solemnize this your marriage according to the laws of this country. Before you, Doreen Anderson, and you, Kevin Burns, are joined in marriage in my presence and the presence of your friends, I am to remind you of the binding nature of the relationship which you are about to enter. Marriage, as most of us understand it, is a voluntary and final commitment of a man to a woman and a woman to a man. It is made in the deepest sense to the exclusion of all others, and is entered into with the desired hope and the firm intention that it will last for life.
What's the matter with her? We're offering her good money, aren't we?
Doesn't mean much to some people. I can't understand it myself, being a man who likes the finer things of life. I'll tell you what, though. I'm a bit of a businessman myself. I might be able to help you fellas out. I mean, Anderson can't very well send me away, can she?
We will not wish you joy on this great day, for joy is in your hearts and goes with you along the fragrant, mystic, sunlit way. We will not wish you joy while love is new, but this our wish, may you be strong enough to shelter love and keep it safe from harm. When winds blow high and roads are steep and rough, may you protect your love and preserve its charm. Kevin Arnold Burns. Will you love her and respect her, be honest with her, and stand by her whatever may come, so you can genuinely share your lives together?
I will.
Doreen May Anderson. Will you love him and respect him, be honest with him, and stand by him whatever may come, so you can genuinely share your lives together?
I will.
I will now ask you to make your marriage vows. Face each other, holding hands, and repeat the vows after me.
With this ring, I thee wed. Take it and wear it as a pledge of my love and all that we share together.
As you have consented together in lawful marriage, in the presence of these witnesses, I now declare you to be man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
But that's mine.
It was ours. Now it's Doreen's. Come off it, honey. We got lots of pot plants.
What a joke. The dyke of the century giving a wedding present. Since when have you believed in all that bull?
I've never expected everyone to be like me, you know that.
Next thing you'll be saying your newfound religion's turning you straight.
No. But what it has done is made me have a good look at you, and I don't like what I see.
You're not giving my plant to Doreen!
You little bitch!
You hit me!
Not hard enough.
All your talk about holier than thou. That's all it is, you know, talk. You would have practiced what you preach instead of going around bashing people up.
Sharon, I'm going to ask if I can be sent to another cell.
Yeah, you do that. Who needs you anyhow?
You'll be wanting to give this to your kids one day, Dor.
I gave it to you, Lizzie.
Oh, the bony old crow like me be getting a bloke.
He bought me a lovely dress, didn't he?
Yep. He's got real class.
Yeah. I don't even feel married, except for this.
He'll be coming to visit you, and you'll be out before you know it, love. And you'll sit up house together, and you'll have lots of kids. And when I come to visit you, I'll be able to tell the kids what a beautiful bride you were.
What are you talking about coming to visit? You'll be living with us.
Oh, it's different when you're married, love. You got to have time together. You wouldn't want an old woman hanging around making a nuisance of yourself. You've got to have time to get to know each other. I know that. Anyhow, I've got to make a life of my own, you know. How am I expected to get a bloke with you two getting in my way?
Oh, Lizzie.
Oh, I don't know why we're all so flaming miserable. We've just been to a wedding, not a funeral. Yeah, and you got to kiss him and all in front of the screws. You made history today, Dor. Look, in a couple of years, love, all you remember about today was you had a really beaut wedding. You could have a honeymoon when you get out. Now, if you were in my shoes, you'd really have something to complain about. Imagine what it'd be like if someone like Ken and me got married. Good. We'd wait 10 years. And the best I can hope for is he'll still be coming to the prison.
Well, this is some party, I must say. Whatever happened to this is the happiest day of your life, huh? Well, congratulations, Doreen. Carrie said you look fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Judy.
Hey, listen, I thought this might make the room look a bit more homey.
Oh, Carrie, this is the nicest picture I've ever seen. Thanks.
All right, the wedding's over, Anderson. This should have been taken back to reception.
Her name's Burns. Mrs. Burns.
I'll call her what I like. I'll check it before it goes back.
Oh, careful, Miss Bennett, you're crushing it all.
Come on, Miss Bennett's got to have a really good perv. After all, it's the closest she's ever going to get to a wedding dress.
Get out of here, all of you. Not you, Vincent. I want a word with you.
Oh, welcome back, Vera. If God had meant us to keep away from men, he'd have made the world into two big prisons. Go on.
Yeah. Anyone would reckon it's the biggest crime in the book in this place, yet they don't seem to care if two women get together. Oh, Judy, I'm sorry. I only meant...
I know what you meant, love. It's just that they haven't got their heads screwed on right, that's all.
We used to have a girl in here once, Marilyn. We were having the place rewired, and that's how she got to meet Eddie. We used to keep the screws real busy so that she could spend some time alone with him.
Yeah, do you reckon you could do that for me and Kevin next time he comes in?
Oh, come off it. Eddie had free run of this place. You and Kevin hardly even get out of the interview room. I wasn't thinking of Dor. I was thinking of you and Ken. Oh, you must be a rocker.
I hate that woman. Why does she have to be so bloody nasty?
Well, you were the one that owned up. What are you expecting to do? Get on her knees and thank you?
Would be easier for you and Ken, B. Because at least he's allowed into all parts of the prison, even like in here.
Hey, where did Marilyn and what's-his-name go?
up there or in the storeroom?
I can just see Ken and me scrambling up a ladder. We're not exactly Marilyn and Eddie, you know. Besides, who said Ken would be even interested?
Oh.
He likes you, doesn't he?
And he is a man.
Yes. Who says you'd get caught? Well, I just want a chance to make a fool out of some of the screws.
You mean you got an idea?
Maybe. Actually, Lizzie gave it to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
That's right.
I have already explained, Miss Bennet, that in my opinion, Vincent was influenced by her agent at the time and had no idea that her accusation would cause such repercussions.
Well, don't you think we're getting off the track? Letting Vincent give art classes isn't exactly giving her another privilege. It's for the women. Maybe she's trying to make up for what she did.
Rubbish. She can't be trusted.
Well, they're going to be held before work, so I can't see that it's going to interfere with routine.
Well, how are we going to supply all the equipment?
I have already spoken to Ken Pierce. He can arrange the necessary items without any expense to the prison.
Then I don't see why there was any point in asking us what we feel about it.
I have contacted the same newspaper which published the so-called blackmail story, and they are sending in a reporter to sit in on the classes.
The last time a reporter was here, the women smuggled out information with him.
They are not to be told that a reporter will be here, Miss Bennet. Besides, I think it's time Wentworth received some good publicity for a change.
I wish Jude was here.
Yeah, she's missing out on all the fun.
Listen, there's going to be some trouble in a minute, so when it happens, just go to the storeroom at once.
And what are you talking about?
Don't ask any questions, just do it, please. Bee'll explain everything to you later. Look, trust us.
I saw that, you old thief. Give him back.
I never took nothing.
Don't start anything, Hunt.
It isn't me, it's her.
Oh, leave her alone.
Oh, shut up, fat
don't you dare call Oh, she started.
No, I never did. Lizzie pinched me pencils.
Oh, there they are. I'll pick them up for you, Phil. They must have fallen off the chair.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, Lizzie.
Oh, that's all right, Phil.
Any more of this nonsense and we'll stop the classes altogether. Understand?
Okay, now, if everybody's ready, let's just get on with it, huh?
Where's Mr. Pierce?
Oh, I think he must have gone to get some more things, Miss Bennet.
Ladies, this gentleman is here as an observer. I trust you will remember there is a guest in the room. Would you like to sit down?
Thank you.
Carry on.
Right, Bea, would you like to go and get changed?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now Bea's going to be changing. She's going to be our model for us. But while she's changing, I'll just explain the pencils we're going to use, that sort of thing. Now, it's always best to use
gotta
a very
use
soft pencil. A very heavy accented line crossing a lighter unaccented line. I'll explain that later when I draw. All right? Now.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah, come in. Now, always make sure when you're concentrating on the garment that you use a model. That's right. You see, you need to have a body underneath to see how the clothes wrinkle and fall, you know, that sort of thing. And make sure that the pose doesn't distort the garment. I think it's always best to turn the subject around to begin with because you can get a clear view, all right? Now, if you all take up your pencils, we can start.
Wouldn't do anything to get you to strife, King.
You know, you women have got so much initiative. It's a wonder any of you ended up inside at all.
I feel such an idiot.
Why?
Because I'm a woman close on 40 and I'm hiding in a cupboard.
Well, that makes two of us.
The worst thing is that now we are alone together, I don't know what to say.
Do we have to say anything? It's just nice to know we're not being watched.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to say something. I'm probably going to have to make do with these few minutes for the next 10 years. When you're on the outside, you think you've got all the time in the world to tell someone what you're feeling. After you've been inside for a while, you're lucky if you can remember what feeling means. Or if you do, how do you remember how to tell someone?
Do you know what I feel about you, B. Smith? You're a mixture of anger and fury and a lot of strength. You're a survivor. But you've still got a lot of softness and honesty and warmth. A woman like you is never going to know what it's like not to feel. I reckon I'm a very lucky man even to have met you.
Now, the more intricate the garment, of course, the longer it's going to take. But try not to finish any one section before you take in the whole sketch, all right? Otherwise, you're likely to end up with things out of proportion. Not to mention perspective. Yeah, that's all right. But, to make the headdress look right, I think you should draw in the head first. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. But to get the head right, you have to determine the whole body length, right? That's the head in relation to the legs and the arms, etc. Give us a look. Yeah, well, that's all right. Actually, the shading there's terrific.
Mr. Kelly, I'm sure you've seen enough. The women have to get to work now. Did you see an officer outside?
Yes, well, I think I've got it all.
Thank you.
Most interesting.
You've been conned, Mr. Stewart.
Watch out, me!
Get out of there.
Miss Bennett, this is what...
Save it for the governor, Mr. Pierce. Although I'm sure she's not going to be too impressed with this sordid little affair.
He had nothing to
Shut
do
up,
with it.
Smith.
Come along, Mr. Pierce.
Hey, give that back to me, you bitch! Miss Bennett, stop her!
Will you put that down?
But she's the one that lagged on you.
Get to your cell, Gilmore. You go with her, Bryant, till we decide what punishment to give you. Anderson, you'd better get to your cell, too. I think you've just had your last day working in the garden. Smith, Birdsworth, the rest of you get to work until the governor decides what punishment to give you. Not you, Vincent. I would have thought a woman of your age would have a little bit more dignity, Smith. Clean up this mess. And after that, get to your cell. I think this little piece of stupidity has just cost you the right to paint.
A reporter was in that room, Mr. Pierce. Luckily, Miss Bennett had the presence of mind to see that he left in time. Can you imagine what the papers would have done with a story like that?
They would have probably seen it for what it was, Mrs. Davidson. A situation quite normal and harmless.
I am well aware it is not easy for the women in here, especially those serving long sentences. However, you were placed in a position of trust. We have had other men on our staff, but you are the first to have abused that position.
For spending 10 minutes alone with B, talking.
The rules are there to protect the women. You were placed in a very responsible position, Mr. Pierce. As far as I am concerned, you cannot handle that responsibility. I have no alternative but to ban you from Wentworth and to send a full report to the department.
Well, I would like to add a footnote to that report, Mrs. Davidson. Quote, rehabilitation is a joke as long as the authorities' minds stay in the dark ages. Unquote.
Goodbye, Mr. Pierce.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davidson.
It seems I should have listened to you about the art classes.
Oh, what's going to happen to Vincent?
Confiscate her art materials.
And Smith?
She is to be without privileges for a week.
She should be in solitary.
I think Smith has been punished quite enough.
Well, they know it was Gilmore who warned us. They're going to try and get back at her.
Yes. Move her to a single cell and have her rostered onto the kitchen. And make it known that if anything happens to that girl, Smith and her group will be held responsible.
Well, at least you got your own way. Except I'll be the one moving out. Should be nice being on my own for a change. What are you looking at?
Don't you know what you've done? Those women are in a hell of a lot of trouble because of you, Sharon.
They asked for it. Bloody Doreen, I hate her guts. The way they've been treating me.
The way they've been treating you, you stupid bitch. You think the world owes you a living, don't you? Oh, yeah, you've always got your own way for everything. Okay, I know that's my fault because I've given in to you all the time. But I've turned you into a monster who can't think of anything but herself for more than 2 minutes. And that's a pity, Sharon, because you've just lost your last friend.
Well, I don't need you looking after me anymore. I can take care of myself. Anyhow, the Screws will be taking care of me from now on.
Oh, well, I wouldn't bet on that.
You know what's funny? You got yourself put in here to be near me. Now you're telling me to get lost. And you've still got a year to serve. For nothing. I'd say that's pretty stupid.
Glad I found you alone at last, lass. I wanted to talk to you about, selling your house.
I don't want to.
Oh, there's plenty of other houses, you know.
Yeah, but that was my mother's and I want to live in it with me and Kevin.
You could be making a mistake.
What's it got to do with you, Mr. Stewart?
I'm just interested in where you're going to finish up, that's all.
Well, I know where I'm going to finish up, and that's in my house with Kevin.
No, it's not.
How do you know?
Let's just say I think you should reconsider for your own sake.
You can't tell me what to do with things like that. I'll go and tell Mrs. Davidson.
Change your mind, love. Oh, incidentally, I wouldn't tell anyone about the wee talk that we had, because I wouldn't like that. Not that anyone would believe you in any case. It'd only be your word against mine. And after that Kerry Vincent episode, I don't think people would be too keen on taking the word of a crime again, do you? Good. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Just let you pull yourself together. What are you doing here?
Smith and her lot are out to get me. I want protection.
You'll be safe.
I hate them as much as you do, Mr. Stewart. I was just thinking, maybe you and I could be of use to each other.
In what way?
Well, you could always see I get a few of the comforts of home, and I'll keep quiet about what I just heard.
You know, I think you and I will go on just fine, Gilmore. Just fine.
Oh, please, just leave me some paintings.
I'm confiscating everything, Vincent.
But I have to work. Look, it's my life. It's the only thing that matters to me. Can't you understand that?
I know what it's like to lose something that matters. If you remember, I almost lost my job.
Oh, that's not the same thing at all.
You break the rules, you take the consequences.
Then put me in solitary. I don't care, but let me work. Leave me with something. No, it's still wet. Please, wait till it dries.
I'm taking the lot, Vincent. Now, out of my way.
No! Oh. Does that make you happy?
Your temper is what got you in here in the first place, Vincent. I'd watch it if I were you.
I thought you'd forgotten all about me.
Quite the opposite, Lizzie. Over the last few days, I've thought of little else but you.
Yeah? Captain Barton told me he's been trying to trace your children.
Oh. I didn't want to get him into any strife, Mrs. Davidson.
You haven't. Captain Barton thought you'd like to know what he's found out.
You mean you found out something about my kids?
Well, I went to the home where they put your children, and from their records and what they can remember, your two sons were fostered out relatively early.
Now, it could take quite some time to trace them through Jigsaw and other organisations, and a lot depends on whether they wish to be contacted. However, we did have a little more luck with your daughter, Marcia. She left the home when she was 16, and kept in touch for some 8 years or so after that. And the last they heard of her, she said she was marrying someone in Melbourne. That was some 20 years ago. So I took the liberty of advertising, and I got a reply. A woman who says she is, or was, Marcia Birdsworth has answered the ad.
Oh, hang on. Listen, can I give you a hand there, Miss Bennett?
Oh, thank you. I didn't realize Vincent had managed to accumulate so much.
Yeah, right. Got it.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.